So I did my MBA before I did interior designing and thinking that it would make me a good, combination of interior designer plus a businesswoman. So there were a few of lessons that I learned, out of which one was patience and perseverance. It took me time as a designer and also time to make my clients understand the same story. So I did my MBA before I did interior designing and thinking that it would make me a good, combination of interior designer plus a businesswoman. But when I stepped into the marketplace, it was the other way around. My career within 2 to 3 days or probably 2 to 3 hours, it just taught me the opposite. It taught me so many lessons about life. That was more than the moral education class that we took in school. It taught me so many deep words, so many deep things about relations, be it client relations, be it your family, your friends, everyone. How important the priorities, how important it was to set rules when you were playing a major part designing somebody's home. Such an important credential that you had from the client side, that you were the one responsible for making that happen. So there were a few of lessons that I learned, out of which one was that patience and perseverance. So while I was practicing, I realized, I used to make these vision boards for my clients and they used to appreciate it. And sometimes I used to feel that, the house has to look like this in a jiffy, which was not happening. Why? Because the amount of labor, caliber, the teams, the effort, the raw materials, the quality checks, everything was involved. And imagining something like doing a drawing, be it a sketching or an AutoCAD or Photoshop, is not similar to executing things on site. So it took me time as a designer and also time to make my clients understand the same story. We need to have patience for a certain thing to reflect or visualize the way we thought of. So one aspect, and actually I realized that as a person also, the patient level actually came more. So when I was 26, I started practicing interiors. The patience level then and now is totally different. It was a game changer for me. I got married when I was almost 30. So I also saw that, dealing with clients and somebody who's a stranger to you, when you actually deal with them, when you understand things, of course, you get rejections, you have to hear to certain complaints also, makes you a more, calmer human being and also patient as well. So I had an arranged marriage. It, of course, was a bit of a roller coaster because for good 3 decades, I was living my life on my own. And suddenly, a stranger just walked in my life. And then one day we started living together. So my career played a very important role in terms of giving me this sort of energy to go through, and how my reactions came and how, patient I was in terms of responding to people, to anybody, it really played a big role. Secondly, I also realized, apart from patience, there is a thin line between just being patient and setting your boundaries right. So, whenever I used to travel or take a short break, I realized my teams, my clients, everybody used to call me, text me, mail me for certain doubts and things like that. For a couple of years, I could take it because I was very new. I was extremely greedy for work, which I still am. But that whole concept of me not losing or pleasing everybody did not make me set the boundaries. So I used to take every call, reply to every mail, do whatsoever as if I was still in my office. And the holiday somehow was not as memorable or relaxing, or that moment of being unplugged was not there. It was just close to COVID that I realized how precious our little moments. The world was going through a misery all throughout. So I just realized that, setting boundaries was so, so essential. It's not that I want to lose any client, but I want to make it clear that, there is a difference between my working hours, the days I work, and the holidays I take. Also, marriage teaches you all these things. I realized that my family, both sides of the family, required my time. So that's how I was able to, yeah, it took a couple of years for me to understand the meaning of this word. Also, I had certain episodes wherein, certain resentments by the clients, certain small little difference of opinion by the clients were there in certain projects. Of course, I make sure that everybody is happy with how I approach them. But still, there are certain people who are impossible to please sometimes. Recently, I encountered an incident wherein I was doing an apartment for somebody, again from a little creative field, but I immensely failed at proving my point to that particular individual. It was because I was just doing the deliverables. I was just making the drawings, the sketches, the concepts, the mood boards, everything, and no reply or a very negative reply used to come from there. So I just realized that sometimes, breaking that sort of thread or letting go of that sort of opportunity is something that you have to go through. It is an unfortunate thing, but I realize that, working for lesser hours or working on lesser projects is always better instead of working for, more projects and being unhappy and carrying that unhappiness with you when you reach your personal space. So we had just completed half of the project, and I had to take a call. I had to address my clients in a very, very polite manner that probably our thoughts don't align, and maybe I'm going to be unable to fulfill what they're asking for. So, had to take a polite back step and then just let go of the project. The consultations, the fee, everything was divided into half. It was a sudden call, but we both the parties decided to do that. It happens in your life that, things which you don't design, like, as a creative soul, I can visualize a lot of things, but these things are never in my hand or anybody's hands. So you start with a great happy face, but at the end, you just have a sort of hollowness within you that you were unable to complete a task which was allotted or referred to you by probably a close reference or a friend. So I feel all these little lessons, they have been very important for me for the past 5 years because I saw a difference in me. There was a transition in me. There's no rushing up. In this duration of 5 years, I did also build my own dream home. And I realized that how important it was to, I built it with my husband. He's an engineer, I'm a designer. So it was a perfect amalgamation to build a house. And of course, going through a lot of chaos and a lot of unsettling conversations, we were finally able to achieve our dream home in the manner we always wished for. But these three thoughts still stay with me. I think it's going to teach me even more years to come. Just wanted to share a little glimpse of how these things have kind of affected life and taught me lessons. I'm sure you would be having the similar sort of stories too.